So our next speaker is Steve Howatt, and he's going to be doing the expanding winter wheat presentation as well as the insights from Yen over the past and where we're going. So Steve has worked in the Eastern Canada agriculture industry for over 35 years. Much of that time has been spent operating a PEI-based crop research company that conducted trials for seed, fertilizer, and supplement and crop protection industries across a range of crops, including potatoes, cereals, and oilseeds. Steve also helped establish a specialty oilseed crop contracting and processing company in PEI and served in various senior management capacities with the parent company for almost 10 years, where he was involved in introducing numerous new crop oils to the food, dietary, supplement, and personal care sectors. During this time, Steve also was involved in specialty crop R&D and supply chains throughout UK and US. Steve exited his crop research business in the spring of 2024 and has been working as the Yield Enhancement Network coordinator for the Atlantic Grains Council since then. So welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Patty. I'm just going to pour a glass of water here before I get going. So I'm filling in for Alan Miller here for a few minutes for the first part of the presentation on a project that Atlantic Grains Council is doing related to increasing winter wheat acreage in the region. So I'm also going to try to make up a little bit of time for our late start after lunch, so bear with me. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. So the Atlantic Grains Council sector outlook for the Maritimes consists of four main strategies. One is feed self-sufficiency for Atlantic Canada. Second is winter crops, which I'll speak about today in our expanding winter wheat project. Also focusing on export assessment and value adding. The winter wheat work plan, there's four main areas that we're focusing on. The first is expanding genetics of winter wheat varieties that are being tested in the Maritimes. So getting more varieties that are suitable for our region. We've also been working on completing a quality assessment of these varieties, as well as some of the varieties that already are being grown here commercially. We've been investigating new markets for potential hard red varieties and trying to expand the market for some of our soft red winter varieties that we grow here. And also been engaging the sector in farm-level demo trials to showcase the potential varieties and best management practices associated with growing winter wheat in the region. I should mention this project is funded by the PEI Department of Agriculture Climate Action Fund. And the goal is really to attempt to increase acreage of winter wheat, both from a sustainability perspective in providing ground cover and winter cover, reduce erosion, but also as we're learning, winter wheat can be quite profitable as well. So the first steps was our variety evaluation work in trying to increase the number of varieties available to growers in the region. Atlantic Grains Council provided a $400 incentive to seed companies over the past couple of years to enter new varieties in the evaluation trials. As a result, we've got about 6 to 8 more private varieties under evaluation now than we did 2 years ago. And these are a mixture of both hard and soft red winter wheats. The Yield Enhancement Network, which I'll speak about shortly, is also showing an increasing number of varieties. So our growers that are in the Yen program, we're seeing a lot more winter wheat varieties being grown commercially. And that's indicating to us, at least, suggesting that there is an interest in winter wheat if we can find varieties that are suitable for our management. The next step, we also collected wheat samples from the last 2 years, 2 harvests, for the Canadian Grain Commission's Fall Harvest Program. And this is a program that the Canadian Grain Commission receives wheat varieties after harvest, obviously, and they evaluate them for quality and whether they meet Canadian grade for wheat. We'll have sent, from the Atlantic region, we'll have sent over 60 samples to the Fall Harvest Program over the past 2 years. Most of these are coming from Yen sites, the Yield Enhancement Network sites that we have across the Maritimes. So we're waiting for the second year results now. Those samples were just sent January, prior to Christmas or somewhere around there. And we plan to report on the 2 years of data when complete. But quite a number of our winter wheat varieties are making good grade in the program. In terms of value-added testing, so looking at the varieties that we're growing here and what they can be suitable for, we also collected 2 kilogram samples of a number of private varieties from the evaluation trials. And these are also sent to Canadian Grain Commission to be graded. From this part of the project, we'll have 31 samples over the last 2 years that went to Grains Commission Cereals Canada for the value-added testing. And this would represent 16 hard red and 15 soft red tests. The hard red samples that are going to this testing program are showing some good promise for milling quality. Soft reds, not used as much for milling for all-purpose or bread flour, but seems to be a protein challenge. So managing our soft reds to get higher protein is going to be something we need to look at moving forward. So 2025, we all know it was a pretty droughty year in most of the region. Winter wheat yields and quality were very good in 2025. I think the fact that winter wheat comes off early prior to when the drought really caused problems was beneficial for that crop. We've been working with the potato sector in PEI, various aspects to increase winter wheat acreage in the rotation. And we've been in discussions with New Brunswick to sponsor a crop wake-up workshop, we're calling it, so an early spring workshop to talk about winter wheat best management practices coming out of the winter. Another interesting thing was the UPEI Climate Lab has done a bit of work for us, looking at the trends over the past 20 years. And it's showing that we are, maybe not surprisingly, we're getting a slightly longer growing season in the region than we used to have. And the data is suggesting that it would support an adjustment in PI crop insurance planting date deadline. So delaying that slightly because we have more open falls now. And not only that, but spring comes a little bit sooner. So there's a little bit more time there for the crop. And we're in preliminary discussions with the PI crop insurance to adjust those deadlines. As well, Alan's been in discussion with Ontario AgriCorp on their methods of addressing dawn because of the challenges here, that gray area between the 2 parts per million limit versus the 5 parts per million. So winter wheat acreage, not surprisingly, has been going up pretty quickly over the past few years. This is planted acreage. In 2025, I believe we're thinking around 31,000 acres were planted on PEI, so a big jump over last year's harvested crop. There we go. And so next steps, some of the ongoing efforts we have related to winter wheat relate to the yield enhancement network. We feel that the yen is critical to winter wheat success in that we're collecting a tremendous amount of data from the region in winter wheat. We now have over 150 winter wheat fields in our records, and that includes not only yield and quality of the crop, but all the crop management practices. So we're able to really dig deep into that data and identify best management practices for the crop. We also have a number of producer workshops within the yen program, which are generating some interest as well. This is just a slide showing, one of the things we're looking at. Winter wheat and spring wheat, when managed relatively intensively, cost similar amounts of money to grow. But the way we look at it in yen is we'll break down, I'll try to explain this. The bottom 25% of our winter wheat producers in yen are producing very similar yields to what the top producers are producing in spring wheat. So what that means is if you're able to fit a winter wheat crop into your rotation, put this carefully, you don't really have to be a very good winter wheat grower to achieve yields that are as good as some of the better spring wheat growers can get from their crop. So, you know, if it fits in your rotation, winter wheat can outproduce spring wheat without a whole lot of effort. Some more ongoing efforts. I mentioned the talks with crop insurance. We're going to continue working to see if that date can be adjusted. Looking at some other winter crops, there's been some winter barley grown in the region with varying success, and there's still some more development within the seed companies for winter barley varieties that do well here. And we're hoping to move to more maritime approach in increasing winter wheat acreage as well. So working with New Brunswick and Nova Scotia to see whether there's opportunities to increase acreage in that crop there. Next steps, we're going to continue on the market development side of things related to winter wheat, making more linkages with some Ontario exporters for our soft red exports from the Maritimes to try to get additional value from our soft red varieties. There's potential for some commercial scale bread making trials with maritime grown hard red winter wheat from this year's harvest. So there's some interest in some commercial trials on the hard red winter wheats. Working on increasing demand and targeting protein levels for the aquaculture industry, which is increasingly using more wheat in their rations. And as well looking at increasing the volume of our local winter wheats used in the livestock sector as feed. So with that, I think I'm close to back on track. Any questions on our winter wheat expansion program? As I say, it is continuing for the next year, and this time next year we hope to be able to present some results on our quality testing program.
Just a comment on your ag insurance side. Just a recognition that the deadline date is the zero penalty date. There's 15 days of 1% after that too. So
That's right.
you can be planning quite late and still have cover.
Yeah, and I think our growers do plant quite late.
They do.
Yeah.
Those last few days are true.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Carl.
Yeah.
Is the virus level in winter wheat as compared to spring wheat? How do you see that?
The toxin level, Don? It depends. It's like any of the other crops. It depends on the season. The last year was very low. 2023, I think, was the bad year. Yeah, it depends on when the weather's at the time of heading and seed fill, and whether fusarium is, you know, there, and if we get the moist weather, damp weather at that time or not. Winter wheat, I think, generally can tend to escape a little bit better because it's early. It's typically drier in July. Okay. If there's no other questions on winter wheat, that was my Alan Miller impersonation, and I'll move into the end.